Hi and welcome back to the channel. I did mention in the last episode that there'd be a new car featuring on the channel, and indeed I did say it was going to be a Ford Fiesta. Well, in actual fact it's not my car, it's my brother's car, but I'll go into why I'm featuring it on the channel a little bit later on in the video. But this is just a brief introduction as to the car, its specifications and how many miles it's done and all that sort of stuff. So without further ado, let's get into showing you the car. Now it's a 2016 Ford Fiesta 1.25 Zetec, and it has 81 brake horsepower. It's actually quite a low mileage car. My brother's had it since 2018, and in total it's covered 20,700 and the extra little 15 miles. So it is quite a low mileage car, and although it's been stored outside, it's in very good condition. Externally there's no problems with the bodywork, but we'll have a walk around it in a little bit. So why am I going to feature it on the channel? Well, it's something of a diversion from the main content on the channel, which is still going to be the Range Rover Sport, the Rover P4, and then the car that I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into, and that is the Lotus Elan. But we'll be doing a few little jobs on this. There's nothing major needs doing, but there has been one minor little issue which I think is going to be of interest to those owners who have a Mk7, I believe this is. It's a little bit confusing because in other countries this is known as the Mk6 Fiesta, but I'm reliably assured, and through a little bit of research, that this is actually the 7th generation in this country, so that makes it a Mk7. If you think I'm wrong, please say so, but that's my interpretation of it. So I'll grab the other camera and we'll have a walk around and have a look at the state of the car, what needs doing to it, and what I'm going to be doing and featuring on the channel in the future. Oh, I forgot to say in the introduction, before we have a closer look around the car, I will go into the value of this car at the moment. And when I started looking, I was very surprised. My other car, or my car, the Range Rover Sport, has lost a lot of money throughout my ownership, but this is a different matter. But I'll go into that at the end of the video. Okay, let's have a closer look around the car. And it is in extremely good condition for a little used car. There's no marks on it, as you can see. It's passed all of its MOTs since my brother's had it. The only thing that was an issue was a light that he'd missed, and there's an advisory on one of the tyres. If we just have a look around here, and it's a surface wall of this tyre. You can see that there's some cracking in the surface of the tyre. Now, although it's not a fail, it's something that needs to be put right. And sometime over the next month, my brother's going to have 2 new tyres put on the back, because there's quite a decent bit of tread on these, but they are, I think they're the original tyres, if I can find a date. Yeah, 0116, so that's January 2016 they've been on the car. So to be honest, all of the tyres, if it was mine, I'd replace them all, but I'm sure he will. So, as I say, it just needs a really good valet, because there's over the winter, autumn and winter, it has gathered a bit of algae, as you can see. So it really needs a thorough valeting, which I'll be doing in a video coming up reasonably soon. So as you can see, it looks good on the outside, so let's have a look, see how it looks on the inside, and then we'll have a look under the bonnet, which is where a little bit of work is needed, shall we say. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'll go into that in a short while. So let's just open. There we go. Now, I haven't driven this car yet, but I've been a passenger in it, and it drives really well. From what I can tell from the passenger seat, that is. So if we take a seat in here and have a look, I think you can see there it says 20,715 miles. Now when I got in it just to start it up and move it around, there was a warning, and it was low tyre pressures, but as you can see there's no amber warning light on the dash there, and that's been extinguished as I've inflated the tyres. And it's quite a nice cockpit, to be honest. It's the actual colour, I thought it was metallic, and it does have a hint of metallic in it by the look of it, and it's called Impact Blue. And I think the interior is called charcoal cloth, and it is very nice. And as you can see, the interior is pretty much immaculate, apart from wanting, as I say, a little bit of a valet. And the interior is a very nice place to be honest. It's got this nice illuminated dash, and it's got the central console with a screen there, and it's got sat-nav, CD, radio, auxiliary input and phone. Now this is only a brief introduction, but I'll be going through a full review of this car in probably the coming 4 or 5 weeks, after we've dealt with a couple of little issues that have come up. One of them's been resolved, which I've fixed, but that's probably going to be the next episode. Anyway, getting back to this little review, I'll turn the engine on. And as you can see, it's I like that dash. The other thing that I like about this car is that it's got a air conditioning system, which is rather nice. His last one, which was also featured on the channel a few years ago, was another Fiesta Mk7, I believe, although I'll get mixed up with the nomenclature of some of Ford's cars. And that was one thing that I wish he'd had on that particular car, was AC. So the interior is quite nice, as I've said, and it's quite a nice place to be. I'd be more than happy driving this, but coming from a Range Rover Sport into a more compact car, it feels a little bit claustrophobic, but I've been in journeys in it with my brother, and it is a nice place to be, and it drives nicely from the passenger seat, that is, as I said. But we'll be going into a full review later on, as I've said. So let's first have a look in the boot, and then we'll have a look under the engine bay and talk about what we're going to be doing under there. Okay, let's have a look in the boot. There's a few things in there, as you can see, and it's a relatively deep boot, to be honest. I'm not sure whether it's got a spare wheel in there, but I'm not going to delve any further into there at the moment. But as you can see, it's got what would that be, a 70-30 split rear seats, so that you can fold those back. But yeah, it doesn't look too bad, but as I say, it really needs a thorough clean and a valet. which we will be doing. So let's have a look under the bonnet. Let's see if the bonnet release is where it should be. Where's Ford hidden this one? I have found it, and it's on the right hand side. Right, let's have a look. Oh, it hasn't got struts, so just bear with me a second. Right, so here is the engine bay, and it could do with a tidy up, so we will be doing that as well. But what I do want to say about this is that I will be giving it a full service in a week or two. So look at the old oil. Yeah, it's a little bit black, so oops. And we will be doing a full maintenance on this car as per the Ford maintenance schedule. And before we do this full service on it, we'll be looking at another part which actually failed, and that is this. But I won't tell you about it now. I'll do that in the upcoming video, which I'll release either later this week, because it'll only be a short video. Now, before we finish, I'll have a chat about the values of these cars. Okay, so before we wrap up the video, I did say I'd talk about the values of these cars. And we all know that the values of certain cars have bombed, and other cars hold the value, and some even go up in value. Now, when my brother bought this car, which was, I say, back in, I think it was January 2018, he paid £7,500 from a dealer, and at that time it had done, I think it was 17,200 miles or so. And as I said at the beginning of the video, it's done 20,750 odd, or 15. So not a lot of miles during that interim. And I was messing about on Auto Trader, as I regularly do these days, and I thought I'd look up the values of these cars, this same model, the 1.2 Zetec, and see what the values were. And I was rather astounded. There are a fair few of these around, the same mileage or higher mileage, and they're going for 7,999 at dealers. I found some with a similar mileage to this, around about 18,000 miles, sorry, 22,000 miles, and they're going in excess of 8. And I saw one at over £9,000. So these are really holding the values, and I suppose it's no wonder, because people are looking for a reasonable runabout, which is economical, is ULEZ friendly, and it's a nice car. My Range Rover, on the other hand, I'd be lucky to get, what, £5,000 for it. I think it's worth a bit more than that, but from the research I've done, £5,000 is around about the price now. And I paid about what was it, £13,500–14,000 for it back in 2018 when my brother bought this. So from the depreciation of the Range Rover, I could have had one of these, but and this is a big but, I would prefer my Range Rover over this for reasons which I'll go on into in another video on the ownership of a Range Rover, what you should look for when you're buying one, and a general ownership video. So I'm starting to ramble again in this video, and it's getting to be longer than I anticipated. So I hope you are going to look forward to those who are interested in Ford Fiestas and small runabout cars. I shouldn't really call them that, should I? But I'm not being detrimental to it, I promise you. And again, I'm rambling. So yes, this car is going to feature on the channel. The next couple of videos on this, one I said will be next week, talking about the problem with the battery terminal, and then it'll be full service, and we'll also be doing a full valet on it, getting it to the state it should be in. Okay, so again, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video. Probably this, but also just as probably the Rover P4. So again, thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.